What's good? It's Chigozi. It's Thursday, August 23rd, 2018. Right now we're looking at federal government programming, all of their propaganda. Lisa, see? Look at this shit. The behavior of pollution at the end of the day can get you plenty of pollution. These people are comedians. Cuomo Prime Time. What's that song to?
It's Spectrum's best deal days, and we're kicking it off with Spectrum Internet for $29.99 a month, and Spectrum Voice for $19.99.
Cuomo Prime Time. 77 like Judaism. He's a Zionist Jew. America 32 to Reflection. Jerusalem 32 to Reflection. Master 76. Spectrum. These are the Zionist Jews right here. They run this place. They run all these industries. You know, it's all by the numbers. They love numbers. And it's in all their propaganda. That's a lie. No contracts and a 30-day money-back guarantee. It's Spectrum's best deal days. Get Spectrum Internet for $20. So I'm waiting for CNN's live streaming right now. Waiting for them to come back. But guys, this is all CNN. This is all Zionist Jew propaganda. All the commercials. Look at this. I mean, come on, guys. Ruth Bader Ginsburg and so these people are fucking actors. Hey, Sonic Colors.
Get published now. Call for your free publisher kit today. 1-800-455-1827.
Theater mode, you know, very appropriate for this false flag theater with Don Lemon.
11 p.m. here on the East Coast, live with all the new developments for you this evening. President Trump under mounting pressure as former allies abandon him. The fallout coming fast and furious as his former attorney pleaded guilty to campaign finance violations and implicated his boss in paying hush money to a porn actress and a Playboy model who alleged affairs with Trump. The president was awake in the wee hours this morning, tweeting his favorite refrains about witch hunts and collusions. Well, today began with what appeared to be a counter-punching
Donald 50, Freemason 58.
The questions weren't particularly challenging. The president potentially dug a deeper hole for himself legally.
Impeach 134, Tisha B'Av 134.
Different accounts of when he knew what.
3770 14th Fibonacci number. N14, dead 14.
Return for the worst. Long suffering and frequently attacked Attorney General Jeff Sessions decided he's had enough.
Jeff Sessions, another theatrical performer.
Saying the Department of Justice would not be influenced by
and go back and pause. See all those words and quotes. Go to mention all those.
They got even worse with the news that longtime Trump ally David Pecker, whose company publishes a National Enquirer, has flipped. Pecker reportedly kept, get this, a safe containing documents detailing hush money payments and damaging stories he killed due to his friendship with Donald Trump. Trump tellingly said this, that this morning he is seen flipping many times, and he thinks it ought to be outlawed. The president is a man who, though not exactly loyal himself, demands absolute loyalty from his subordinates. He may not be able to count on that anymore.
Donald 31, 127, 31st Prime.
Let's bring in Michael Avenatti. Michael is the attorney for Stormy Daniels. Good evening to you, Michael.
You've already decoded him. This is an actor
what the AP is reporting tonight, that
participating in fake news propaganda.
Kept a safe with documents on hush money payments and other kill stories that were damaging to Trump. Are you surprised by this?
Unfortunate.
I'm not surprised, Don. It's going to be fascinating
47.
when those documents come to
Trump,
light, and we
president.
know that it's only a matter of time.
Michael, 33.
Come to light. I think what we're witnessing over the last few days.
Trump, 29, 25.
Enterprise.
Avenatti.
Donald Trump managed for so many years and was at the center of is quickly.
Ave Maria. Skyscraper Freemason 143, Mason 62.
Momentum in the coming days and weeks ahead.
See?
I think we've already
it's fake
seen
news
that
propaganda.
just in the last 48 hours.
Donald Trump 48.
What does it say to you that the government was willing to grant immunity to David Pecker?
It's very interesting, Don. And I'll tell you, the most interesting question is when that immunity was granted. Now, why do I say that? Because if the immunity was granted before the government concluded that they had the goods on Michael Cohen, that's one thing. meaning they would have granted the immunity so they could get to Michael Cohen. If, however, the government granted immunity after they already had the goods on Michael Cohen, that's an entirely different story. And it's fascinating if that's the case, because that would tell us that they're looking beyond Michael Cohen. And the only person that I know they could be looking at beyond Michael Cohen would be Donald Trump.
Interesting. So at one point, you said that you have been approached by other women, Michael, who claim to have had affairs with Trump. So I got to ask you, would Pecker know if any other women had been paid off or other potentially damaging information about President Trump?
Well, I think he does, and I think he would. And I think that he would know certainly of any payments that were made to any such women by AMI or at his direction. This is not a positive development by any stretch of the imagination for Donald Trump. It's obvious to
Stormy
me that these documents that are being referenced would already be in the hands of government prosecutors and
2952. See,
again,
Stormy,
I think it's only a matter of
attorney.
There's a concern.
This is fake news propaganda by the numbers.
They may never be heard from or seen again. You think they already have it?
Well, I think they absolutely already have them, unless they were destroyed before Mr. Pecker was granted immunity. But when the government grants immunity to someone, that's a big deal. The government just doesn't hand out immunity that easily, and they would have required
immunity 4729, Trump 4729.
So
See,
I want to play something for you. This is
immunity 19 reflection.
Fox News
Masonic 43 29 74.
What he did, and they weren't taken out of campaign finance. That's a big thing. That's a much bigger thing. Did they come out of the campaign? They didn't come out of the campaign. They came from me, and I tweeted about it. You know, I don't know.
No, we didn't.
But I tweeted.
The propaganda software did.
But they didn't come out of campaign. Almost everybody that runs for office has campaign violations. But what Michael Cohen pled to weren't even campaign related. They weren't crimes.
So it sounds like he's kind of admitted to cheating there. But, I mean, he says there weren't even crimes. What's your response?
Well, he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's like almost everything else that comes out of his mouth. He's just flat out wrong.
See,
the fact
comedians.
of the matter is, you could not have the Trump organization enter into effectively a conspiracy with Michael Cohen, which also involved Donald Trump, to funnel this money in such a way where it hid from the American public as to where it went and what it was for. The Trump organization could not make this payment or reimburse Michael Cohen for this payment without disclosing it. So that's first of all. Second of all, for them to pay over $400,000
Chicago, the
to Michael Cohen for a $130,000 payment, it seems very likely to me that the Trump organization probably deducted that on their tax returns as a legal expense,
and 143,
which opens up an additional can of worms and problems for the Trump organization.
that's why he's in Chicago.
But clearly, the president has no clue
what
as
fucking
to what
actor.
the law or regulations around campaign finance are.
I want to talk to you about the New York Times reporting, because I think this is very important. And the New York Times is reporting that the Manhattan DA's office is considering criminal charges against the Trump organization in connection with the Cohen case. And here's what they're saying. They said that 2 officials are also wrapped up in this hush money payment to Stormy Daniels. And the state investigation would center on how the
Donald 23 on the 23rd day of August.
Michael Cohen for $100,000 that he paid to Stormy, which you were alluding to about the taxes, right? So what's your reaction to this news?
Well, again, I mean, here's what's going to happen, and it's no different than in any other white-collar case. So the rats have already started leaving the ship. We know that, and this is only going to accelerate.
The rats are his employers.
That touch these payments, that face potential criminal liability, they too are going to be looking for immunity. They too are going to be looking for deals, and they're going to continue to roll over on Donald Trump. This situation is going to get a lot worse for the president, and it may never get better. I don't think it's ever going to get better. The president is in a lot of trouble, and we're going to seek a deposition of him as quickly as possible. We want to get his answers under oath, and at this rate, Don, it would not surprise me if he took the Fifth Amendment against self-incrimination in a deposition by me. And imagine that. I think it would be the first time in history that a sitting president will have pled the Fifth Amendment in response to questions about his potential
by him
conduct.
with the numbers with Trump in his name. See,
in part because of what
this is a play
unfolded over the last couple of days. You'll be able to depose both Trump and Cohen in the Stormy Daniels case. I'm wondering what information you exactly want from them and why you think that, because this is what our legal analysts are saying to me, Michael. They say it's not clear yet that a stay will be lifted in the civil case, or that you will have the right to depose Trump. A court would have to weigh the burden to a sitting president. So why do you think you'll be able to depose them, and what information do you think that you'll be able to get from them?
Well, first of all, I think the stay is going to be lifted on September 10th or shortly thereafter, because the entire purpose of the stay was, as argued by Michael Cohen's attorneys, to see what happened in the government investigation. The investigation's basically over, at least as it relates to Michael Cohen, because he just pled out 2 days ago. So that's
Donald Trump 48, Saturn 3021, Donald 112. Give 112 days remaining.
I think we're even on better footing now in light of Michael Cohen's admissions as to why we're seeking depositions of Michael Cohen and Donald Trump. I mean, these issues are at the center of our case. What the president knew, what the communications were between him and Michael Cohen, what they did to cover up the existence of the NDA and the payment, the flow of the money. There's a host of questions and issues that go to the heart of our case. And I'm highly confident that we're going to get a deposition of Michael Cohen. I think that's almost a certainty, 100%. And I also believe there's a significant likelihood that we're going to follow that up with a deposition of the president.
Michael Avenatti, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks.
When we come back, another big legal issue for the president, one that also involves 3 of his children.
Of course. This is bullshit propaganda. So, there you have it.
Longer days.
Just saw you play.
90 nights.
Oh, shit.
Summer is here.
Can I go back to the commercial?
Now,
in the Stormy.
They were saying some numbers. I wanted to hear what they said.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Sorry for this.
Go to the heart of our case. And I'm highly confident that we're going to get a deposition of Michael Cohen. I think that's almost a certainty, 100%. And I also believe there's a significant likelihood that we're going to follow that up with a deposition of the president.
Michael Avenatti, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks.
When we come back, another big legal issue for the president, one that also involves 3 of his children.
We just got to hear the propaganda again. Now you know what bullshit there is.
93 longer days. 93 warmer nights. Summer is here.
You hear that? 93?
134,000 minutes of windows down and music up.
Impeached 134.
8 million seconds to feel
the time.
Summer on.
Make the most of it in the new BMW.
Oh my goodness. Vesica Pisces 134.
Now through September 3rd.
You hear September? They're talking about 93 now through September 3rd. What? Do you just see that Saturnian piece of propaganda? Was it from BMW? Putting this on? I don't know. I wasn't even paying. I was just too enamored by how it was just so by the numbers. But Saturn 93, putting out a bunch of propaganda 93. We're just talking about the Saturnian act of Donald Trump. And then by September 3rd, 23, Donald, they with 119 days remaining. Saturn 119. That's when the ritual that we're just seeing ends from that commercial with this red car driving around. You all just saw that. 93 days and 93 this. Ending on 9/3. Because we're watching live propaganda. And that just came on. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's all over the place all the time. Freemasons are doing shit by the numbers left and right. So perfect way to end this video. I mean, it cannot be any better. I'm sure the rest of these commercials are probably just as good, but why keep going, That was perfect. That was just so good.
8 million seconds of wind. 93 longer days. 93 warmer nights. Summer is here. 134,000 minutes of windows down and music up. 8 million seconds to feel summer on.
Make the most of it in the new BMW. Hurry into the BMW Summer On sales event. Now through September 3rd.
How did the Goy not get it?
If you feel like you spend too much time in the bathroom with
the fucking actor saying 93, 93, 93 the whole time. Now through September 3rd. Summer on. 118, spiritual. Get this Saturnian stuff. This is a spiritual thing to this gang. Spiritual 118, 44. Israel 98, 44. Pairing Israel. You see this? Israel honoring the number 93 all the time. Knesset equals 93. The world leader of Israel, their former president, dying at 93. The world goes to pay respects to him on a day leaving 93 days in the year. So we know how Israel is with 93. You know, we have Little Israel, New York, Reflection 39. This Saturnian actor, Donald Trump, from the 11th state, New York, 39. Thelema, which sums to the same thing as Israel, Thelema 64, 44, honoring the number 93. That was a Thelemic ritual in that BMW commercial. Thelema 44, Israel 44, 98. You getting it now? Saying summer on. 44, 98. 37, like Israel. Spiritual. This Thelemic 90, and they're saying 93 all in the commercial. And it ends September 3rd. It just cannot be any more clear. Day with 119 days remaining. That easily has to be the best commercial I've ever seen in my entire life. At least one of them from this gang of Zionist Jews. .228 and Frank Baconis. This 326 I'm sure is relevant too, but this 228, United States of America 228, Death 228. Saturn, the god of death and judgment. So there you have it. I mean, sometimes I just wonder, I hope people saw what just happened. They were talking about 93. I mean, I'm still blown away. Because I know this is all Bidenomics propaganda, but it's just the blatancy is too much. 93, 93. Ending September 3rd, summer on with the Israel numbers. This is, fuck everything else we saw in this video. You just see this. This is the takeaway of this video. Pairing it with Thelema numbers. It just cannot be any better. Honoring the number 93. Oh, and the propaganda we're watching, this is the date numerology is all coming out on. You know, Saturn 42, 69 is why we probably saw that commercial too. Donald Trump, a Saturnian actor. Peace out.